You get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovely Tea TV Show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovely Tea TV Show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, so we are back. And this time, the tea is not just hot, it is absolutely boiling. Because this story is one that most mainstream media has been slow to cover. And it is now so large that the FBI, the House Oversight Committee, NASA, and the President of the United States have all been pulled into it. We're talking about a growing list of scientists, researchers, aerospace engineers, and military officials, people who worked on nuclear technology, space propulsion, UAP programs, and classified defense research, who have either gone missing or turned up dead since 2022. As of this week, the number is at 15. And the federal government is no longer calling it a coincidence.
The FBI is investigating the cases of at least 10 scientists working at secret government labs who have either died or disappeared. Now, the deaths have spanned over 3 years, and government officials have acknowledged the pattern is, quote, eyebrow-raising.
The Trump administration has directed federal agencies to investigate whether a series of deaths and disappearances among scientists with high-level security clearances are linked. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed the probe following reports that 11 individuals tied to sensitive military, nuclear, and aerospace research have been affected.
Let's start at the beginning of the list, because the oldest case has come back the hardest in recent weeks. Amy Escridge was 34 years old and living in Huntsville, Alabama. She co-founded the Institute for Exotic Science and was working on anti-gravity technology, experimental propulsion research focused on manipulating gravitational effects. She died on June 11th, 2022, in what authorities ruled a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But what has resurfaced in the past 2 weeks tells a different story. A former British intelligence officer named Frank Milburn told News Nation that before her death, Escridge claimed she was being targeted by a directed energy weapon, said she was experiencing physical and psychological attacks, and provided him with photographs. And separately, someone she communicated with online said she texted him, "If you see any report that I did this to myself, I most definitely did not." Her death was then ruled exactly what she said it would not be.
And she was saying things, I mean, you've provided us with text messages you say are from her, where she's saying, if I die, it wasn't suicide.
Yes, basically, yes.
How long had you known her when she was when you say she was texting you this?
She started with that information probably about a month after we first met. But as I said, she was introducing me to her co-workers, other scientists, and then after she died, other people that she'd known since she was since her childhood, they came forward. They'd been attacked as well in relation to her. Her co-workers had been attacked. They'd been roofied. They'd been beaten up, and they were absolutely terrified. They said, Amy gave us your contact details in case anything happened. Then other scientists started coming forward as well, saying that I'm interested in UAP and I've had directed energy weapon attacks.
Former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker said this week he is glad the FBI is looking into her case, and that her family believing it was suicide does not mean the things she reported were not real.
A 34-year-old scientist was working on the technology that could produce unlimited free energy and make every single electric bill on Earth disappear. And she is now officially one of the 11 scientists that are connected to classified programs who have gone missing.
There's multiple parties looking at each other like, didn't we tell this 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? What is she doing? She's still doing it? What? We told her we were going to kill her 3 years ago.
Her name was Amy Escridge, and she was working on something called zero-point gravity, which is basically the idea of pulling energy out of nothing. Literally no fuel, no waste, no loss at all, just unlimited power that would never run out. If it works, obviously every single oil company, every single energy company, and every single electric bill on Earth would have become completely irrelevant because we would have power for free. She texted a friend and she said, if you see any report that I did this to myself, I most definitely did not. Her cause was then officially ruled as self-inflicted. She was 34 years old and she literally predicted what they would say, and she is one of 11 people. And on Kalshi right now, millions of dollars are riding on energy prices going even higher than they already are, and obviously the person that was trying to make it all free is now gone.
If what they're saying that Amy Escridge mysteriously discovered before she died is true, then we are cooked. We all know that Amy Escridge is one of those scientists that is now dead. She was connected to advanced aerospace research, and now her name is being tied to one of the most disturbing alien theories out there. And what I'm about to say might scare you, but maybe this is the reason she's not here right now. The theory says that what people think are aliens might not be aliens. They may actually be humans from the future. You heard what I just said? Not visitors from another planet, not creatures from another galaxy. Aliens that we think are aliens may be humans from the future. So according to the theory, there are future human groups called P-47s and P-52s, meaning they're humans from tens of thousands of years ahead. The claim is that some catastrophic event forces humanity underground for thousands of years, and after that long time without sunlight, humans will supposedly, allegedly evolve differently. Pale skin, smaller bodies, no hair. And what does that sound like? The same description that people have been given of great aliens for decades. And that's why this theory is hitting people so hard, because it flips the whole alien conversation upside down. It says maybe they're not coming from outer space. Maybe they're coming from what happens to us later on. We have about 15 scientists missing in the United States. They also said that 9 scientists were either missing or deceased in China. What's really going on? They know something. Pay attention.
Guys, I know that this is about to sound insane, but you need to follow with me. There is a real theory that aliens are actually just humans from the future, and the scientist that was working on this entire thing is now one of the 12 who have gone missing. One of them was Amy Escridge, and her father was actually a NASA rocket engineer. They worked on all of this together. She said that aliens are not from another planet, they're actually just us from the future, and she said that they're called P-47s and P-52s. She said that a catastrophic event happens and forces humans underground for thousands of years. And after that long with no sunlight, your eyes would grow massive, your skin would lose all of its color, your body would shrink, and you would lose all of your hair. That is the science of what would happen to a human if you were underground for that long, and that is literally what people have been describing aliens to look like for decades. Hello? And if you're somebody that's ever seen the movie Interstellar, that is literally the ending. It was never aliens, it was us the entire time. And if this is true, that means that the catastrophic event that forces us underground hasn't happened yet, obviously, but a retired NASA engineer and a congressman have both publicly discussed this. And on Kalshi right now, millions of dollars are riding on whether the government is going to confirm that aliens exist before 2027. And obviously the scientist that was just researching all of this information is now gone. This is obviously just a theory, but this is what all of her research was based on, and now she's gone, and she's one of the 12.
So the ultra-terrestrials, I'll just tell you. The ultra-terrestrials, I think, have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is? They're us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me. They're from here. From the future. P-47 is present plus 47,000 years. P-52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future. It wipes out most of like everything, man. And there's the ones that go underground and survive, right? And then there's the ones that somehow stay on the surface and miraculously don't die.
Her father, a former NASA employee, told News Nation he does not think her death was suspicious. Her family told CNN she was a marvelously intelligent person who suffered from chronic pain. Both things can be true. What is also true is that a 34-year-old woman predicted the official cause of her own death in writing before it happened. The FBI is now looking at her case as part of a broader pattern.
In speaking with him, Escridge dismissed any link between the death of his daughter to the 10 other scientists who've mysteriously died or gone missing over the past few years. All had links to government secrets and programs tied to military defense and UFOs.
Now let's go through the other names, because every single one of them worked in sensitive, classified, or cutting-edge research. Michael David Hicks was a research scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and died in July 2023. Frank Mywald, also at JPL, died on July 4th, 2024. Frank was a principal researcher. Former Air Force Intelligence Officer Matthew James Sullivan, 39, died in 2024 before he was scheduled to testify in a federal whistleblower case about UFOs. Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson told Fox News that Sullivan had been set to come in for an interview and died by suicide within 2 weeks of that scheduled date. Anthony Chavez, 79, a former Los Alamos National Laboratory employee, went missing on May 8, 2025. Melissa Cassius, 53, who worked in a high-security clearance administrative role also at Los Alamos, disappeared on June 26, 2025. She walked away on foot without her phone, wallet, or keys. Monica Riza, 60, was the Director of Materials Processing at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and co-inventor of a superalloy called Mondalloy that is critical to U.S. rocket engines. She disappeared on June 22, 2025 during a trip with friends in California. She has not been found. Stephen Garcia, 48, was a government contractor at a facility in New Mexico that produces approximately 80% of the non-nuclear components of American-made nuclear weapons. He disappeared on August 28, 2025, leaving home with only a pistol and without his phone, wallet, or keys. Then there is Joshua LeBlanc, 29 years old. He was a NASA aerospace electrical engineer and team lead on the agency's Draco program, a nuclear thermal propulsion engine designed for deep space missions to Mars. On July 22, 2025, in Huntsville, Alabama, his family reported him missing after he failed to show up for work. Police tracked him using his Tesla's Sentry mode and found the vehicle had sat at Huntsville Airport for 4 hours that morning before crashing into a guardrail and several trees and burning beyond recognition. He had left his phone and wallet at home. His family feared he had been abducted. His body was burned so severely, it took 3 days to confirm his identity. Jason Thomas, a pharmaceutical researcher, went missing on December 12, 2025, and was found dead at the bottom of a lake in Massachusetts on March 17, 2026. Nuno Loureiro was the director of MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center, one of the leading fusion physicists in the world. He was shot outside his Massachusetts residence on December 15, 2025, and died the following day. Police arrested a 29-year-old suspect in that shooting, but no motive has been publicly released. That silence has only added to the wider conversation. Carl Grillmeyer was a Caltech astrophysicist who worked on NASA's NEOWISE and NEOSurveyor missions. He died on February 16, 2026. Retired Air Force Major General William Neal McCasland, 68, vanished in February 2026 from his home within a 1-hour window, with his gun and wallet missing. He has ties to alleged UAP programs and has been a subject of significant interest to UAP researchers for years. He has not been found. Then this past week, 2 more names. On April 17, 2026, James Tony Moffett, 60, his wife Lisa, 61, and both sons, Andrew, 30, and William, 28, were killed when their Mooney M20 single-engine aircraft crashed near Union County Airport in South Carolina. They were flying home to Huntsville from North Carolina and had stopped to refuel. All 4 were killed. James was a 21-year military veteran with a master's in aerospace engineering from Georgia Tech, trained as an experimental test pilot at the U.S. Naval Test Pilot School, and spent years at NASA's Johnson Space Center, contributing to 14 Space Shuttle ISS construction missions. He later founded Moffett Systems Incorporated and continued as a principal research engineer at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. His son Andrew was a research engineer at UAH's Research and Engineering Support Center. The NTSB and FAA are investigating. No cause has been released, and the investigation is expected to take up to a year.
2 more scientists that worked with NASA have just died in a private plane crash, and this time it's a father and son, marking number 14 and 15 in the growing list that have recently vanished or been found dead. The father, James Moffett, spent 2 decades working for the military and directly with NASA before he moved on to advanced aerospace research. And his son, Andrew, was a research engineer and scientist that also worked with NASA and propulsion systems at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Why does that sound familiar?
I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. I know I've said that several times. We're the Rocket City. We're the biggest deal you've never heard of. We won the space race here in Alabama, whether you've heard of it or not.
The whole Huntsville family was on board when the plane crashed for reasons unknown, and authorities are saying that the investigation is going to take about a year. If you're wondering how we went from number 12 on the list, David Wilcock, number 14 and number 15, Joshua LeBlanc, a NASA scientist that vanished last June, was found burned in his Tesla, marking number 13.
And then 3 days later, on April 20th, 2026, David Wilcock died. Wilcock was 53, a New York Times best-selling author, regular on the History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and one of the most prominent voices in the UAP disclosure movement with over 500,000 YouTube subscribers. Boulder County deputies responded to a 911 call at his Colorado home reporting a mental health crisis. When they arrived, they found him outside holding a weapon. Within minutes, he used it on himself and was pronounced dead. His family confirmed he died by suicide after a long struggle with depression and financial debt, and stated there was no foul play.
So not only did David Wilcock say that people wanted him dead, UFO researcher David Wilcock gave one of the reasons why people wanted him dead. So I went down this rabbit hole. And if the information that this man put out to the world is true, then I really do not believe that this man took his own life. David Wilcock knew some things that he was not supposed to know. And the information that he wasn't supposed to know about wasn't just about aliens and UFOs. David Wilcock had some information on black people. David Wilcock had information about a black Jesus. You ever heard of the name Simeon Toko? Well, if you haven't, just know that David Wilcock had information on this man. David Wilcock wasn't supposed to put out the information that he had on this man, but he put that information out. Listen to this shit. I need you to listen to this.
In the 1960s, there was a black man in Africa who came in with abilities complementary to those of Jesus.
Listen.
And he was performing miracles. He was starting to get people to listen to what he had to say.
Listen.
And the Cabal tried to kill him, and, they could shoot him in the head, and his skull would just regenerate.
You heard that?
Grow back, and he was fine. And, so the crazy story that I heard, and remember, I was told at the time that if I disclosed this, that I would be killed.
I'm not going to play the rest of that video, but just know it's way more information in the rest of that video.
Is this why they murdered David Wilcock? I mean, why he committed suicide?
The DS is very, very adamantly fighting to prevent you from learning about extraterrestrials. That's the last thing they want you to know about. They want you to be afraid. They want you to see them as gods, to see them as authority figures. The last thing they want is for you to understand there's a higher power that answers Christianity, answers Islam, answers Buddhism, answers Hinduism. It pays off all of these ancient teachings that we've inherited that often become religions.
If the deep state doesn't want you to know the truth about extraterrestrials and aliens, but the president of the United States in February said that he's directing all agencies to release all of those related files, and then all of these UFO researchers and scientists end up, you have to wonder if the information you're going to be getting is not all of it. Kind of like some other files. Now, no one's really around to tell you otherwise. As always, let me know what you think about all of this down below.
One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers from the Cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. The rules are a body of spiritual principles that they must follow in order to be allowed to exist. Now, what do I mean by allowed to exist? I mean that they are aware that there are benevolent forces that will prevent them from achieving their goals unless we give them permission to enslave us. Ultimately, the universe is intelligent, alive, and conscious, and it is benevolent. It is a benevolent consciousness. That consciousness does not allow the negative to succeed unless it is invited. So the Cabal has made a science, a very elaborate science, out of studying these arcane, occult, magical principles that allow them to get away with what they do. So they have to put out everything that tells you who they are in music videos, in these Super Bowl halftime shows, the Grammy Awards ceremonies. They're out there showing you the truth. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice black magic, and they are very, very good at it. Frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, you know, that's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through all of this. I really wish there were other influencers out there doing global meditations, but right now it seems like I'm the only one. And so we gotta keep on track, you guys. I need other people out there doing this for me because I don't want to be a single point failure. If anything ever happened to me, God forbid, you know, we don't want that to happen, but I want other people to be doing this as well, not just me.
You guys may have heard about William McCaslin, Monica Reza, and Carl Grillmeyer. Now, what do these people have in common? So we're going to break all this down and how all these weird instances are all connected. So we had her remote view into these situations. So there is a missing general named McCaslin, and he was ahead of the UFO research facility in Wright-Patterson. He went missing last month. People are alluding to that he had information about disclosure, UFOs, and whatnot. Then we have Monica Reza. A lot of people don't know about her. She actually went missing last summer during hiking. Now, she's a rocket scientist. Carl Grillmeyer, he's dead, and he got shot on his porch randomly. They're saying it was a carjacking. And the connection between all these three people, Grillmeyer, he's an astrophysicist at Caltech. Now, there is a research facility at Caltech called IPAC that he was one of the lead researchers there. Now, right down the street, there is another research lab, JPL. Guess who's the director of JPL? Who? Monica Reza. There's another connection. So with the missing general, he was the lead commander at another Air Force base. Guess who worked there at the same time he was there? Monica Reza. So all three of these people dealing with exoplanets, space travel, UFO disclosure, they all go missing. And then now what do we have the government doing now? They just booked a domain, aliens.gov.
Well, also Carl Grillmeyer, I believe he worked on basically like space defense, like, you know, stuff like meteors.
Yeah.
Meteors.
Elizabeth, what have you seen with all these people?
It's really interesting. So as a remote viewer, for me, it's very visual. Not every remote viewer is visual. Some have more like a sense or a sensation. And so it's really interesting because when I was taking a look at all of these like disappearances and these scientists, the first thing that came up is that it's actually a group of 5. We're talking about 3 right now. There's 2 others. So not only were they on the leading edge of discovery and information, but it was very clear that they were working with an alternate organization. A lot of people call them the white hats. You know how we have like the elites and the shadow government? We essentially have the other form of government, which are the good guys, and they have their own remote viewers, which is interesting. They have white hat hackers as well. They're very high tech, and this sort of good behind the scenes government organization has individuals embedded within military, within politics, even within sort of celebrity culture all over the world.
Here's where this story stands officially right now. The FBI confirmed it is spearheading the effort to find connections among the missing and deceased scientists, working alongside the Department of Energy, the Department of War, and state and local law enforcement. House Oversight Chairman James Comer said there is a high possibility something sinister is taking place and called it a national security threat, noting every country wants America's nuclear knowledge. NASA said it is coordinating with relevant agencies and that nothing related to NASA currently indicates a national security threat. President Trump told reporters, "I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half." I just left a meeting on that subject. Some of them were very important people.
There are these 10 missing scientists with access to classified stuff, nuclear material, aerospace. They've all gone missing or turned up dead in the last couple months. Based on what you've been briefed, what do you think is happening here? And do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left the meeting on that subject. So, yeah, pretty serious stuff, but we're going to be hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, whatever you want to call it. But some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short term.
15 names: nuclear propulsion, fusion physics, anti-gravity research, UAP programs, a retired general who vanished with his gun, a family of 4 killed on a refueling stop, and the FBI is officially looking for connections. Do you think these deaths and disappearances are connected, or do you believe this is a tragic pattern of coincidences? And given that President Trump himself has now acknowledged this is serious enough to be in active meetings, do you trust that we will actually get the full truth of what is happening to these people? Share your thoughts down below, and thanks for watching.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovely Tea TV Show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovely Tea TV Show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.